Hi and welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. Sorry we had a difficulty with our intro video today, but I still wanted to stop by and talk to you about the post. We're going to be talking today about alcohol markers and the different ones that are available on the market. I have lots of different ones to show you. I'm also going to talk about some that I don't have here and why you might want those too. So let's get started. Here I have a great selection of alcohol markers that we're going to look at today, and we'll be then focusing on each type of alcohol marker over the coming weeks, pros, cons, things you can do with it, things you maybe can't do with them. But I wanted to show you today what is available on the market, or talk to you a bit about what I have here and some other ones that are available. So many of you I know have the Chameleon pens, and they come in these blending colour packs. You can also get blending pens. I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of them. Again, I will do all of these pieces, we will photograph them, and you'll see those at the end of the video and on the blog for you as well. So this is the pinks packet, and on the end here we have PKs, which stand for pink, and then I'm going to move that up there, so PKs that stand for pink, and we have Vs that stand for violet, BVs, blue violets, so very similar to some of the Copic colour families. How they work is that they come in 52 different colours. So they have a PK2 and in both. I'm trying to remove the right hands. So we have a brush style tip here, and then we have a fine line tip on this end. You also, in every pen, have this blender piece. And what you do is I'm going to take the brush end and you touch that onto the blender. Pop the cap on here. And if I lift this up, you can see that that white nib is sucking some of the colour out of that pink nib. Now, while it does that, I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds rather, and then once we start scribbling, in theory, it should go from light to dark. But I find that they don't really tend to do all that much. And I'll keep giving it a little bit longer and see if it sucks its way out a little bit more. I mean, I've seen lots of people use these, lots of people do love them, but for me personally, they're not my favourite pen. But I will do even more research before we do our Chameleon pen week, but that is just a quick overview of how those work. So they're your Chameleon pens. Next up, I have the Nuvo pen. So these are from Tonic Studios. They come in 30 colours in packs of 3. One pack is your black and your blender, so your real neutral, your sort of basics, and then you have blues, greens, yellows, etc. So the way they work is they come in these 3 blending packs. So these are your Nuvo pens. And so you've got 3 shades. We have 425, 427 and 429. Again, you have 2 nibs. So you have a chisel nib on one end and you have a fine nib on the other. Now, the reason they come in these 3 packs is that they are designed to blend perfectly from light to dark. So we can go from light to medium to dark, and then we go back. So then we go for our medium and we blend that in. And the thing with alcohol markers is you do need to saturate your cardstock to get those nice blends. So if I lift this up for you, you can see it very seamlessly blends from light to dark, or dark to light, depending which way you're going. So that's the reason that they're sold in these 3 packs, and they are really lovely to work with. I do wish they had a brush tip end, but that fine nib does cover really nicely, and you've got that chisel in there as well. So that's another option that's out there for you. Then on to Copics. So Copics you probably see a huge amount, and there are different types of Copic pen. You have the Copic Sketch, which is this, which is the more traditional for paper crafters, with a brush on one end and a chisel on the other. The sketch pens, which are these, come in all 358 colours. The other types of pens come in a more limited colour palette. However, you can always buy empty markers and refills and create your own, whether it's a chow or other, and I'll talk through those in a second. I'm going to write Copic on here. So Copics have a numbering system: Y for yellow, G for green, blue greens, V for violets, etc, etc, and we'll look into that in Copic week. This is a chow. It's a less expensive marker. It has less ink in it. It comes with a chisel tip. It comes with a brush tip. The thing about Copics is all tips are interchangeable, and you can add whatever tip you would like to your particular markers as well. Now, Copics also come in an original, which has a different type of tip again, and it's square, and then it also comes in a large chisel style as well. Now, with Copics, because there are so many colours, you can get, again, that perfect blend. So here I have a Y00, and then here I've picked up the Y02, and we can then blend between the two. So again, if I lift this up, you can see you're getting that perfect blend in there as well. So Copics, again, you'll get every colour choice. You can get a huge variety of different types of markers, and you'll also get those lovely blends in there as well too. So next up I have for you Spectrum Noirs. So Spectrum Noirs come in a total of 216 colours. There are different types of Spectrum Noirs. These are the original here in the black. These are the illustrators, and you can also get ones that are called graphics. So the originals come with two different tips again. We have the chisel and the fine nib. Again, I'll sketch this out for you. So we have the two nibs on there. The Illustrator pens, which I'm going to do on a separate one, just because they're slightly different, again have two tips. You have the brush tip and you have the fine nib. So that works well for colorists. The illustrators and the graphics have 25% more ink than the traditional markers. So we'll call these the Spectrum illustrators, and we'll just call these the Spectrum Noirs. So the illustrators come in the same 216 colours. The graphics also come in the 216 colours, and the only difference between the Illustrator and the graphics is that they have the graphics rather have a chisel and fine tip rather than the brush and fine tip. So it really depends on what you're doing as to which one you require. They do come with different naming conventions. So the illustrators will have names on them, but it'll also tell you where it would sit in the same spectrum as the original pens as well. So they do give you a nice conversion so that the sets can complement each other, and we'll get to that when we do Spectrum Noir Week. They are alcohol based, they're exactly the same as anything else. Now I've got two of each here so that I can show you how they blend together. So if I start here, this is an FS2 and this is an FS5. So FS standing for, I think it's flesh and skin tones, if I'm correct. And again, you can see there, you can quite seamlessly blend between the two. Now the other option is the traditional Spectrum Noirs, and I have a DP1 and a DP2, and I'm going to just use my fine liner end. Again, I'm going to pick out the DP2. And you could also just use your chisel to really help you blend between the two. So chisel tips are great for lots of detail, so making sure I put the right cap on the right pen. And again, you can see the lovely blends between those two as well. So they're all the pens that I have here. Now, other options on the market are that Prisma make their own Prismacolor alcohol markers. Dick Blick make their own version, which I've heard are very good as well. And the other ones that are very popular are Pro Markers. Now, I don't have any of those ones, but they are out there. They will work in the same principle as these, so that you'll be able to get the perfect blends, and you'll be able to get blender pens and all those sorts of things as well. So next week we'll be looking into each of these individually. So we'll have a Spectrum Noir week, we'll have a Chameleon week, we'll have a Copic week, and we will have a Nuvo week. And we'll look into the advantages and disadvantages of each pens, how they work, and some different things you can do with them before we start going into some more techniques and technical ways of working with the markers. So if you're looking for a set of markers, maybe you have a variety of different ones and you'd like to know about some of the others that are around too, then stop by again next week. So thank you so much for joining us. You can see on the screen right now some of the photos we took of the comparisons with the different pens so that you can pin those for reference. They will of course be on the Hedgehog Hollow blog that is linked below this video. If you're on a mobile device, click that bottom right hand corner arrow, and on a desktop click the show me more below the video title. Thank you so much for joining me for part 3 of our alcohol marker skill builder. I will see you again very soon. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Thank you. Happy stamping. Bye.